the sound. Is it showing over there? Okay. There we go. Just waiting to see if anybody shows up for a second. Alright, that's good. So then turn this a little bit this way if you don't mind, so I can kind of see them in there. Greetings, I'm Hanshi Garcia, the Kokoro Samurai. In this lesson we're going to take a look at the uppercut. Welcome to lesson 4, everyone. In this lesson we're going to take a look at another strike. Again, we're going to be incorporating a circular strike. Remember, there's two different kind of strikes that we use. We have linear strikes that are from point A to point B, kind of like a jab or a cross. And then we also have circular strikes like the hook, the roundhouse that you've already learned, and in this case the uppercut. Okay, where we're going to be creating a circle in an upwards direction like this, to get that extra power and energy. So let's take a look at doing the uppercut. Now, the uppercut, again, like most of your strikes, we're going to be hitting with these two knuckles here. We're going to be keeping your wrist stiff, okay? And then we're going to be striking up like this, okay? Parts of the body you can hit to is to the body itself or to the chin underneath, okay? Causing the person to whip up like this. You can cause whiplash if you strike hard enough. You can also, at the very least, deflect where they're looking for an additional strike. So if I'm coming in and I'm fighting with somebody, I may come in for an uppercut to knock their head back so I can do some other strikes. So let's take a look at how we do this technique. Let me go ahead and grab a pedal here. Hold on for just a second. There we go. So keep in mind also, if you're just now joining us, make sure if you haven't already to head over to our website, thekokorosamurai.com, and register for your free profile page. And if you do watch this video, either live right now or in the next week before the next class when we delete it, just mark in the comments here if you have a profile page so you can get credit for it. Those of you that have not created a profile page, you'll notice that each time that you learn a lesson and you check mark that you're here, when you go to your profile page, you have all the techniques, buttons there, that you'll have them light up one by one, so you're able to click on them and watch the training videos that we made for each one of those techniques. At the end of those entire series, you'll be able to test wirelessly. We'll do it through something like Skype, or be able to upload a video. We have multiple different ways for you to show your abilities with techniques in order to move to the next belt. And then you can join us in our Rokkyu live classes where we're the green belt, where we move into more advanced strikes. So let's take a look at doing the uppercut. Alright, so first thing I'm going to take a look at is body positioning. Okay, just like we talked about in the one of the original classes, it's not really even a lesson, it's like a pre-lesson with a basic stance. We want to start off, we just get ourselves in a good position here of keeping our feet shoulder width apart, our toes pointing in the right direction, our hips underneath us, chest up, hands up like this. Alright, now the first thing we're going to do, first I'll demonstrate the technique and then we'll go into the details that make it work. Okay, so we'll demonstrate the technique here. Okay, and when the yuki, okay, or the person that's helping you train, holds the paddle, you want to hold it about chin level. That's a good place for you to start training, start working at that. Eventually you can start moving the paddle around so you can work on different size individuals, or if you're going for the body, coming up like that, or you can use a bag to do the roundhouse on the uppercut to the body. Alright, so let's take a look at the technique first, and let's take a look. Now the uppercut can come from the front or the back arm, just like this, just like so. Okay, seems pretty simple, right? But for those of you that have already been watching this series, you already know that the techniques aren't always as simple as they first appear. Okay, there's a lot of details that go into it. I make it look easy because I've been doing it for so many years, but as we progress, you're going to have to get more of the repetition involved, more repetition in there in order to get better at doing these techniques. So let's break this down piece by piece. First one we're taking a look at is the body. Okay. Now, just like with the hook of the roundhouse, where you're creating a circle this way, okay, with the strikes, and all your power is coming from the body, like so. Okay. Now we're going to be creating a circle like this. Okay. We're going to be creating the energy from our body, because all the power still comes from the body, like so, okay? So if I'm coming from the back arm, all the power comes in a circle of motion, like so, okay? From the front arm, like so, okay? Creating that circle. So you mainly want to focus on your body movements for that power, okay? So let's take a look at that first. Now, we'll take a look at the back arm first, okay? Because it's the larger circle, and it's actually the easiest to get the power out of. And then we'll take a look at the front arm, which is just a slight modification, okay? All right, so the first thing we need to do is you create that energy going towards your strike, which is start from back here, coming down and up into your target, okay? Again, the body does most of the work, the arm just kind of lags behind, and then you just pull it forward for that final strike. So let's start with that first movement. First thing we're going to do is I'm going to drop my weight to my back leg like this, okay? I'm going to tilt down and push off my front leg, okay? We're going to start with the feet, work our ways up. So drop that back leg, come to the forward and up, okay? Back leg, down, forward, and up, just like so, okay? So you're creating that circular motion like this, coming down like this, okay? Now, the next thing we do, remember the power, closer you are to your chest, the more powerful the strike's gonna be. So we need to turn that chest like this, okay? Start turning that chest into the strike like this, okay? Just from the back leg to the front leg, creating that circle, just like so. All right, and then once you got the body down, you're dipping down for the back, creating that circle, turning that body, the arm just kind of lags behind, okay? And then when you get to your target, you just strike up, just like so, okay? You're just bringing that strike up. So the body's actually doing all the work, okay? And you also want to make sure you're pushing that chest out when you bring that arm through, like this, okay? So the power comes to the body and push out that front leg, like so. Reason being is that because if you just do all arms like this, all the over and over, one, you're not going to get as much power from just your arm, but two, your arms eventually going to start getting tired. So you can do this pretty much all day, just moving that body, and all I'm doing is flicking that arm. So just like the jab and the cross, okay, I'm using my body to create that energy and for that power, and then just bring that hand up. Okay? All right, now let's take a look at a couple of details to make sure you're doing it properly. First of all, this is a power strike, so you can do a power breath. Okay? Remember that breathing is very important in martial arts. Matter of fact, it's probably the foundation of it. If you can't get the breathing down, you're going to have a lot of trouble with stamina, okay, with fluidity. So it's important that you get the breathing down. So the two different breathing patterns that we have is a speed breath, okay, 1 breath in, 4 breaths out, okay? Okay, and then we have power breath, which is 1 breath in, 1 breath out. Okay, remember that the power breaths are designed to be more powerful, okay, but they also take a lot more out of you, so use it sparingly. You want to use speed strikes as much as possible, set up your opponent, and then when you see an opening, use a power strike. So we're going to use a power breath with this strike, okay? So what I'm going to do is I create that energy and turn that chest and bring my arm through. I'm going to take a deep breath in and then breathe out as I strike. Just like so, okay? Very powerful, okay? All the energy comes from the push of the legs. You're pushing through the strike. And that's how you're able to get twice the power with half the energy. All right? Some common mistakes people make on this, okay, is that when they throw the strike, they throw their arms up through the person's head like this, leaving themselves exposed. Okay? You always want to make sure that when you strike, you want to pretend just like you did with the hook, where you almost felt like you're pulling the person's head in. Okay? Same thing here when you strike. Pull that hand back to protect your face. Okay? Okay, so pull it right back in, just like you're protecting your body. Right here. Okay? Another mistake people make is before they do the strike, they tend to drop their hand. Okay? Getting that wind up, because they're concentrating on the body, their hand goes limp, like this, leaving themselves exposed. Your arm comes back and cocks, like this, but it stays close to my face. Okay, so anything changes, it's close by. Okay, so as I drip down, I'm keeping my hand up as I do that strike. Okay? Another mistake people make is their opposite hand may drop. So as they're striking, they'll come up like this, leaving their other face exposed, the other side of the face. Okay? They're not paying attention the arms drop. That's why it's so important to get in a good habit, okay, keeping your hands up at all times. Okay. So you kind of see how I'm just kind of it gets kind of stuck right here. You feel it lock, and then when you push through, you just pull your hand through and close to your body. Okay, and that's how you do the uppercut from the rear hand. Okay, now the forward hand is very similar. Again, 2 knuckles, wrist stiff, elbows in. Okay, except now instead of creating a bigger circle, okay, now you're much closer to your target, so your circle is going to be much smaller. Okay, almost down and up. Okay, so I'm coming down here, since I'm underneath the person's body already, I'm just going to dip down and create a small circle like this. Okay, so whereas the back leg was a big circle, this is more of a smaller circle like this. Okay, you kind of see the smaller movement. Okay, so as I come up like this, all right. Now everything else pretty much stays the same, except now I'm coming pretty much underneath like this, still turning that chest into it. Okay, get more power out of it. Still keep my free hand up, but as I come up like so, okay, I'm pushing my legs, then striking, just like so. If any of you have any questions, feel free to write them over here. I have my student Cameron with me. He'll be happy to let me know if there's any questions. So feel free to make this as interactive as you would like. So if you're watching this live, please feel free to ask some questions, and he'll let me know, and I'll just answer. Okay. So coming down, creating a small circle, chest up, pushing, just like this. Okay. Keeping the hand close. All right. So let's take a look at it on a paddle. Okay. Again, the uke, holding the paddle right here at chin level. Okay. You can work on the back arm. Okay, like this, dipping down, creating that circle, just like so. Okay, all the power comes from that body rotation. Okay, and as you can see, it's a pretty solid strike with very little effort. Okay, you can hit with your knuckles like this, or you can turn them to conform with the chin more. Okay, come on in here. So, person's chin is a little bit different for each person. Come on in. There we go. So I can either come and strike like this, or turn it to fit underneath the chin more. Thank you. Okay? So you come in like this, or like this, depending on how the person's position and what fits better. Okay? So, coming in, the paddle, okay? Getting that circle of motion, like this. Just like that. Or from the front, it's more of a smaller circle. Just like this. Okay, push it down, breathing out, just like so. Okay, so as you can see, it's just a small circle, same breathing, just getting that power breath in, really kind of coming in, getting those strikes, just like so. Just make sure you pay attention to the details involved with the strike, okay? The circles, the smaller circle. Matter of fact, now that we've gone over the technique, we're going to spend a few minutes. If there's no questions on the technique, we're going to move on into taking a look at the next lesson, which is circles and lines, something I just like to kind of go over just a moment here.
Too many words.
All right. Okay, so now that we've taken a look at doing the uppercut, let's take a look at a theory. A lot of times we go over to a certain drill, okay? And if you've already been with us in the previous lessons and you've learned the 1-for-1 drill, just go ahead and practice that tonight with your family or friends, or just kind of, if you're by yourself, so you can still drill on your own. I may say that for another lesson where I'll kind of teach you a little bit on how to shadow box, so you can train on your own. To be a martial artist, you should be able to self-motivate, self-train. I know a lot of times people are, I don't know, how much I'll get out of doing a online class, or a Facebook Live class. But really, it's not necessarily about where you get the information from, but how you use it. So if you're a good student, you'll be practicing this at home. You'll be paying attention to the details that I point out. You'll be asking questions if you have any. And of course, if you're by yourself training, you'll learn to find ways of training those body and those muscles, so that if you do find yourself in a fight, you can't say, well, I didn't have anybody train with, and that's why I'm not that good. So, but let's take a look at something I want to go over as far as a theory, and that's circles and lines. This is something that we go in more detail in samurai training and black belt training, but I want to kind of go over it with you because circles and lines play a big role in martial arts, as well as breathing. We talked about breathing a few lessons ago. Okay, circles and lines are something you just want to get ingrained in your thought process when it comes to moving. Oftentimes people become very rigid and they try to fall back on techniques to base their level of skill is. You know, depending on what martial arts you've learned in the past, or if it's your first one, or if you've taken boxing or anything else, you may fall back and rely on the techniques themselves as the answer to the questions, when in fact, you know, the techniques are really meaningless. They're just tools that masters use to teach lessons. So one of the lessons you want to get down, you know, from the get-go and really emphasize in black belt training is the idea of lines and circles. You know, just get out a piece of paper, get a paper, pencil, pen, what have you, and just draw lines, draw circles, and kind of instead of paying attention to what's coming across on the paper, see how it feels. Okay. One thing you'll notice when you start really becoming in tune, okay, is really feeling the energy in each movement between a line and a circle. You start to feel the movement and what it means to fighting. If you've ever seen some of those movies where they teach, you know, or even history where samurai or masters would learn through calligraphy or learn through writing how to fight. The idea is they use the lines to kind of learn to flow, okay, using more aggressive. Even artists are familiar with this. Artists that may make more wavy pictures as opposed to those with more stronger emotions may do more with forceful strokes. Same thing with martial arts. Everything moves in lines and circles. The way you move into a linear strike or the way you throw, you know, everything moves in circles, okay? From upwards to around, okay, to straight, the way we move to the side. Everything focuses on lines and circles. So even now, as a white belt, as a Rokkyu, 6th class student, you want to start practicing those lines and those circles, because right now I'm not teaching you necessarily just how to do a jab or a cross or an uppercut. I'm teaching you how to think in circles and lines, whether it be linear strikes, circular strikes. Okay, the idea is you're learning how to move and move that energy in different directions, because the idea is in martial arts, especially when you become a black belt and training master, is simplicity. Okay, don't rely on trying to recall techniques in the middle of a combat situation. You want to make fighting simple, so that you find yourself in a situation, all you got to think of is circles and lines. You just kind of flow with those when you're fighting multiple attackers in any environment. Everything moves in circles and lines. How you move, your tactics, the way you fight. So start today just by drawing circles, drawing lines, moving in straight lines, moving in circles, practicing the circle strikes and linear strikes, and just kind of see how it feels, so that by the time you're on your black belt and you go into samurai training, you're more familiar with the concept of circles and lines. And we'll go more into detail as we move into other techniques. Striking techniques use a lot of circles and lines, but everything else does too. When you move to Aikido, when you move to Judo, ground fighting, weapons, everything moves in circles and lines, even the way we move our bodies. So it's important now to get that down. Well, I hope you enjoyed tonight's lesson. Feel free to make sure you join us next Tuesday. Make sure you guys are registering on the website, thekokorosamurai.com, if you haven't already. If you have, make sure you mark on the comments that you watched this video. Okay, I'm not going to be paying attention to says who watched, or live views, things like that. I'm only going to be paying attention to in the comments if someone says I saw this, or here, or yo, whatever works for you to let me know that you watched that video. And then if you have a profile page, you'll get that credit on your profile page, and you'll continue going through these Rokkyu lessons. We're just going to go right down the lines from lesson 1 to lesson 30, and then we're going to go right back to lesson 1 to lesson 30. So if you want to move forward and don't want to be just in this loop of just constantly learning the same 30 techniques over and over again, and you feel like you want to move forward, make sure you got a profile page, make sure you're getting credit for these classes, and then we'll get you tested, and then you'll be able to move into Goku, 5th class student, which is represented by the green belt, and then you'll be to another group where we'll start learning more advanced strikes, and then so on to blue belt, you know, Songkyu, EQ, EQ, all the way up to Shodan, which is first degree black. Okay, so again, thank you so much. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'll try to get back to them as fast as possible. And then again, join us next Tuesday. Again, thank you for watching, and have a great night.